The Medicare changes are what we want to focus on today, because that's what impacts pre-retirees and retirees as they're getting ready to elect Medicare and make these decisions. So let's talk about the Part D stuff that starts right away. So we're kind of going to do this in order of the years it's supposed to go into effect. So 2023, insulin copays, vaccine coverage, that's a big one.
Yes, this has been a big question over a number of years, because if we remember, during the previous administration, they had implemented a similar provision, right? We had all heard that insulins were going to be capped at $35. Well, the big difference was it was optional for drug cards, drug plan carriers. It was optional for them to go that route. Some chose to participate in it, others did not. Well, starting in 2023, all will be mandated to participate in this program. So you definitely, if you are covered, if you are using insulin, if you're diabetic and you do need insulin, you just want to make sure that your participating drug card carrier is participating with your formulary for insulin, and that you will receive that insulin with that $35 cap.
And just to, be clear, it's a $35 copay, and it shouldn't go over according to these new.
Right, correct.
That's great news. Okay, so there's not going to be any deductibles, co-insurance, or other cost-sharing requirements for adult vaccines covered under Medicare Part D.
And the big one with this is what went off in my head and others is shingles. That is a big one. It's covered under your Part D, but it's expensive. And it's not just one vaccine, it's two, and they're both expensive. So this was a big one. So starting in 2023, $0 copay for shingles. And if you can go online and look at this list of vaccines, there's hepatitis A and B, HPV, influenza, all these vaccines that we can now look forward to beginning in 2023 without that copay attached.
Okay, let's keep going with some of these provisions that start in 2023. The negotiations begin. So previously, the federal government and drug companies couldn't negotiate prices, so starting 2023, they can.
Yeah, negotiating with the federal government.
Is there air quotes here? I sense air quotes on the word negotiation.
That's right. I mean, we get to negotiate at the beginning of the year with our taxes, right?
Yeah, we wish.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, you bring in a highly skilled negotiating team.
Yeah.
with their new 166,000 federal IRS agents. Yeah, that's going to go real well.
Yeah, it goes really well. So basically what's going to happen is in 2023, these negotiations will begin between the U.S. government and these pharmaceutical companies. And they're going to start with a list of 10. A list of the 10, there's no generic equivalent. These are the top 10 brand drugs that have been on the market for more than 9 years. And they're going to start negotiating prices in September of 2023. In October of 2023, they'll release the name of these medications. And then, as the years go on, in 2024, they'll release another list. But these negotiated prices will not take effect until 2026. So we'll start getting wind and earfuls of what these medications are, what the negotiated prices will be, but they will not take effect until 2026.
Yeah, and this is something that you're going to keep track of, which is why it's really important, probably now more than ever, that when you work with somebody, they bring a list of the different types of drugs that they're using or medications that they're on, so you can look those up and say, here's what this one's going to cost you, here's what this one's going to cost you, and it could have a direct impact on the type of plan that you select as well. So that's part of this informational process that you will go through the discovery process to identify what plan and then what are the drugs going to cost.
Exactly, and keeping in mind that once these negotiations start, these prices are supposed to be, offered to you in 2026. But here's where the negotiation gets interesting. If the pharmaceutical companies do not abide by these negotiating costs, then there's excise taxes, which can be up to 95%. They start at 65%. And then also penalties applied if they are not instigated in 2026. So that's the way the government is negotiating with these pharmaceutical companies. But so there are mandates in place that these are followed once the provision goes into play.
That would be penalties and excise taxes on the pharmaceutical company that the pharmaceutical company then would have to pay. And if they're not willing to negotiate and then consume these penalties and taxes, that's probably going to get passed on through the cost of the drugs, I would assume. Is that what you would see?
In theory, it's supposed to go back into the Medicare Trust Fund to withhold that money. So in theory, that is how that is supposed to work. But again, as these new provisions take play, we'll have more information as we experience what these mean.
Yeah, I think those in favor of this bill or in favor of these changes would say that the hope is to lower the drug costs for the consumer. But again, some of this, of course, to be determined as they negotiate. How much will they negotiate? How much will it bring the prices down? That's kind of stuff, of course, we can't know the answer to yet, but we'll keep an eye on.
Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.